think that you guys are really going to enjoy this match. This is a crazy match that you're about to see. Crazy. Straight up. So, first map, Polypoid. I'm the Terran player here. Here's my Protoss opponent, cross spawn. Okay? I'm not even going to say anything. TVP. Let's go. So, here's 4 probes mining. 5th probe pops out. Here we go. Let's follow it. So this is a 2/3 proxy. This is a known tactic that you can do on 4-player maps. Okay? So, you're in a location. Now, a lot of people are just like, okay, well, you make 2 gates in the center. And they're kind of close to everything. But another way you can do it is 2/3 of the time, you'll hit them if you do something like this. Like, you make it in the base in between their bases, in between these other 2 bases. So, in a situation like this, if I'm top left, I'm so far ahead, it's almost like game over. But if I'm in one of these 2 spawns, this is super powerful. This is super powerful because you can't scout these. You would never have an SCV go here at this point. The end scout will see the gates relatively quickly. You know, and it's just such a close rally. So, such a dangerous, dangerous move. And then he does scout me first here. So I go to the south. And of course, I'm Terran, so I end scout here, right? So I scout there, and then I'm like, okay, let's go to top left. And here comes Zealot. Now, when the Zealot comes, it's 1 Zealot, and I'm like, huh, that's really quick. I go through the center, and I don't see any gates. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe it's like a very early forward gate as natural at the top left. And then the second Zealot pops in. I'm like, oh, he either has gates here or he has gates here. I know, like, as soon as you see the second Zealot that quickly, you know. So this is rough. Okay, now he doesn't have a lot of probes. He has 10 probes here. I have 16 SCVs. Luckily, it's turn rate 24, so if it wasn't, I would be dead here. This is getting very tough, though, as you see. A lot of SCVs are falling. I'm trying so hard to finish this factory. Okay, I get a bunker up. Super important. Okay, now a vulture is on the way. Now, I screwed this up really badly. Watch this. Ah! I lose the first vulture. It's so painful. It's so painful. Okay, this time I'm smart enough to lift that off. This is an old trick where you surround the factory with Zealots and then just try to kill the vulture. Because the vulture, if it's getting hit, will die very quickly. That was my bad. That was my bad. I should have looked at that and been like, okay, we just lift instantly, you pull it back, and you have a vulture and you wreck the Zealots. Whew. Painful, though. Okay. So I got to repair that. Now, he actually has goons coming. I have this in my... This SCV went over to scout. Now, I'm microing so much that I can't keep it alive. But I did spot the Cybernetics core, and I did spot the Forge. So I do check the side of my base real quick and make sure that there's no cannons or anything. But I think that was an idea he had, that the probe got, like, its neck snapped or whatever. So he just went into goons. So right now, my priority is to reduce the health of these Zealots as much as possible and take my ramp. Because once you have Zealots and goons up the ramp, it becomes terrible. Also, notice that it's been a few minutes since I mentioned the worker count. Because this is just one of those things about these rushes, right? Like, he only had 10 probes, and I had 16 SCVs when he came, but I've lost so many SCVs, and he's been able to pop some probes in here and there, so now we're getting a lot more even on workers. Alright, so I get a lot of damage on these, which is really good. Now, here come the goons. So I haven't gotten my ramp yet. So this is tough. Because this is anti-Zealot. This is not anti-goon. This is a terrible placement on everything for goons. Like, how do the SCVs even get out? Right? I'm making a vulture. There are 2 goons here. There are 2 more zealots. These are low, though, which is so important. If these are high health zealots, I'd just lose the game right here. And then I block the goons from getting out. That was very, very important moment. So we do end up holding here. And I even get that vulture to live, which is amazing. Because if I lose that vulture, I'm so much more scared. Okay, so now it's about holding this ramp and trying to figure out, how do I proceed? Slip the vulture out because I need some scouting. He makes a wall, so I can't get the vulture up the ramp. I didn't even realize this when I was playing. See, I was trying to lay some mines here, but the goons actually ran back and headed it off. So I do get a mine down at the 3rd, which is nice. That was cute, though. I hadn't realized that. Okay, so I don't know exactly what's going on here. The goons did not put on that much pressure. They're mostly chasing the vulture around. He could be going DT. He could be going expansion. I just don't know. So I do have to throw down a missile turret. As we can see, his Nexus is almost done. And his Robo is halfway done, right? And I haven't started a command center. I'm preparing for more cheese because I just don't know. I can't get a scout off. He did a good job blocking everything, and I couldn't get to his natural with that vulture. So I'm throwing up some turrets because the first thing is you don't want to die. Throwing down some mines just in case. I do start my CC on high ground in case it's a bust all in. Then I'll still have my command center. Second factory coming up. Laying my mines around as I can. Okay, now, my mine here sees those. See? I see that he has goons here. Okay, so I just heard scans. So I scanned, I kind of checked out. Oh god, he's already mining. This sucks. Okay. So at this point, I want to lure him into this mine. Because I know I can get, like, insane value here and maybe do a counter push. So let's see how that goes. See, I'm attacking, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm losing. I run back. Oh, here I am. I run back. No, he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to walk into my mine. And now an observer's there, so whatever. I tried. Okay, so ComSat's coming up, adding more factories. He's up 10 workers right now. Ouch. Damn. Here I'm just preparing for a possible bust. Because the one thing I do have going on pretty well right now, I have a vulture here. I have a vulture here and a mine here, right? So I have this vulture going up checking for expos. I'm trying to keep track of how many bases he has, because that's like... That's one of the main things, right? I'll scan for tech and use vultures to check for bases, and I need to keep track of that. Because, again, this game is so weird and wonky and so much damage in the early game, it's really hard to know exactly where you're at in a game like this. At this point, I felt behind, but I felt like I could still win it. Because even though I'm a bit behind, it's like, yeah, but, you know, that was a pretty hard cheese in the beginning. Like, I can fight back. So I come up, I see the base. Okay, we know he's taking his third. I screwed up my micro here. I could have gotten more probes than that. But now we finally have an equal worker count. I haven't started my next command center yet, though. And the reason for that is, like, I've been scanning a little bit and scouting a little bit, and we see a lot of zealots being made right now. So I'm very afraid of a bust. So I decided to go to 6 factory before taking my third base. And this is just for unit production. I'm not planning to attack him. This is more like, let's make sure we don't die. Another thing that I was taking into consideration here, I was like, I really need to win this map. Because map number 2 is Eclipse, right? So this guy went proxy 2-gate, like a 2/3 proxy, where a third of the time he loses the game for doing this, and 2/3 he's ahead. So he took this type of risk on Polypoid, so I was like, Eclipse is going to be a dirty fight. Very likely a very dirty fight. So I was like, if I lose this, Between my mentality plus the map, Eclipse is going to be really, really tough. All right. So we're just making a lot of units. Doing what I can. I kind of force him back, so I think at this point I take my third base location. Just running the vultures around. Get off High Templar, whatever. Probes. I'm just trying to get stuff done with these, right? Oh, yeah. He suicide in a shuttle with High Templars in it. So I just lost a bunch of SCVs during this. So that's a little bit painful. Making a Wraith to just push that out. Oh, I guess I made a turret as well, so... That's whatever. So here I'm just trying to set up so I can't be busted. Finally clearing that out. I know that he's taking his fourth base. So here I'm just like, because I already have 6 factories, my thought process here is let's turtle everything up, because again, I'm scanning a lot, I'm sending some vultures around, and I see that, and he's already done suicide storm drops. So when you're playing against someone who's going shuttle storm, it's a very powerful composition for fighting like chaotic battles and for harassing economy. It's very hard to attack into High Templar based compositions, but it's easy to defend against them. Not the storm drops are hard to defend your mineral lines. Like, even if you build tons of turrets, they can kind of still kill workers. But I'm saying, like, your army itself, like spreading siege tanks, laying down mines, throwing down turrets near your army. It's hard for the High Templar based army to actually just roll you over. It's incredibly hard for them to do that. But if you start attacking, they'll get very cost efficient because all your units are clumped up as you attack, so the Psy Storms get lots of value. And also, it's a very gateway-heavy composition, right? They can replace things very quickly. High Templars are high in gas, but on minerals, so it kind of allows their macro to really flow well. So my thought process here was, let's turtle into 4 and reassess, like check what he's doing, and then probably push down and take a 5th base. Because I need to make sure that I'm not dying. I have enough supply right now. No problem. He's maxed out. You would expect that anyways. Kind of a funny engagement here. You really wanted to stop that. I kept my command center back. You need to keep that thing alive. And another suicide storm drop. So look at my SCV count, 29. At this point, I actually started to get nervous. Because he suicide dropped many times already, killing off lots of SCVs. 29 SCVs is very, very, very low. So even though he's only on 4 base, I'm kind of like, ooh, this is not looking super hot right now. We have had a tough game so far. Trying to set up some more anti-High Templar drop, like putting mines here for the attempts to try to get me there. Trying to do harassment with the vultures, not really working there. Gigantic attack on this base. Save the command center, so that's good at least. So right now it's 90. It was 90 supply against 188 there. He's got twice my worker count. Okay, yeah, and look at the replay bar. 22 minutes, and we're only that far in. My God. This game, guys. This game. My SCV count is really what's killing me here. Because it's like, it's so hard to replace any of my units because my income is so bad. Look, my main base is mined out. The only reason my natural isn't really close to mined out is because I've been storm dropped so many times. That's not a good reason, right? Like, thank God I have 2 places I'm mining from right now, but seriously. Okay, so another huge storm drop brings me back down to 30. It's just crazy how much damage this guy did to my economy throughout the game. You see I'm kind of just mining up over here. Here I'm trying so hard to delay these other bases. You have a better chance of winning by far if you can just delay them taking another main base. You really need to slow that down, because when a Protoss gets another main, that's when they're really stable on these 4-player maps. So I'm sending the Vultures in, really trying to force cancels and stuff like that. So I do get that one. I actually dived in trying to get this probe. I saw the probe, and I was like, ooh, let's kill that. It'll slow the Nexus. Couldn't get it, though. So yeah, he's just throwing up everything. He's up 20 workers, 70 supply. God. And I'm just keeping track. Like, I scan this game, like, so many times, just making sure he's not going carriers. Because that's, you know, you can kind of play like I'm playing here, as long as they're not going carrier. If they're going carrier, you have to attack. All right, so here is a funny move that I thought would work. I made 3 dropships because I'm starting to panic a little bit at this point. I've lost so many SCVs. His army is huge. I know he has a bigger bank. So I went for 3 dropships, right? Like, I have lots of turrets. I know he can't see this. So I'm like, all right, what I'll try to do here is wreck the bottom right again. So I made 3 dropships for siege tanks, and the idea was to run vultures and lay mines to slow everything, pick off the Nexus, and get out. That was the idea. Now, that one probe he had over here made the Nexus and 7 gateways and a bunch of cannons. So this doesn't work out as well as I saw it in my head. So here we go. We siege. Have to kill the cannons first. He had an army right here, so he just runs it in. And that didn't really do that much. And then he does a gigantic attack here. Clears out my army. Kills my 4th command center. Oh my god. It's so painful. It's so painful. Okay, let's take stock. He's mined out his 3rd. His 4th base is getting low. Okay, he has 6 o'clock. That looks healthy. This Nexus just finished. And I didn't really do damage down here. So he's still on 60 probes. He just needs to transfer probes from here. Yeah, that's basically. He needs to transfer these probes probably to this base, and his economy's really good. I've lost my 4th. I'm on 37 workers. I'm mining from 6 mineral patches. But again, I thought about the opening of this game, and I was like, I still have to try to win this because Eclipse is going to be hard against someone that's willing to go 2-gate, you know, 2/3 proxy on a 4-player map. Because Eclipse is such a cheesy map. All right, so I finally change how I'm going to do it, okay? And this is something that I still need to work on a little bit, but sometimes I get a little bit stubborn about where I want to take my 5th. So I was wanting to push in this direction, down south. You know, and the thing is, he's, like, expanding down here, so if I can push in this direction and kill these bases off, I'm so far ahead. But it's impossible to do. This is like a much longer path too, right? Let's say your rally is here, or here, or here, whatever, in this general area. You're like going down and around, and then you're going forward a little bit and down, and you have this on your back. And it's like, this is a wide, hard area to hold. And then you have to get up here and hold this area as well. So that's like, that's a lot harder, honestly, than rallying here and just holding this small area. Because as soon as you hold this area, you get this base. And then it's a very quick push into this area. And I know that you're looking at this and thinking, Artosis, it's a symmetric map. It's the same. It's actually not the same. It's rotationally symmetric. And there's certain directions you can go in that are a little bit easier. Like the 4th base to the south is easier to take because the ramp is right there. So like from your rally point, you're only defending this area to get up there. So this one is actually harder to take than this one. But this mineral base is easier to take than this one. Okay, so anyways, I decide to change and go towards top left. I still have mines in the area. He hasn't tried to really take this yet. He sent a probe up earlier that I caught. So he, like, had the idea, let's send a probe up there. But yeah, I'm like, okay, I can't break down here. I've tried it like 3 times. I tried the 3 dropship play. That didn't work. Nothing has worked. He's busted the space like 3 times now. Killed the command center. Let's change our strategy here. All right, so I am starting to move over. Okay, I have lots of turrets set up. I have some siege tanks set up. Lots of mines being laid. This is the really important part. I actually see that he's taking this Nexus now, and it's like, oh god, he's getting ready to fight over here. But I have to break this right away. If I can't take control of this high ground, this is the most important area in the game right now for me, then I'm definitely gonna lose. He did do another drop up here, by the way. I'm at 41 SCVs right now. God. Okay, let's take a look what else is going on. Okay, so he does have Arbiter Tech now. Oh, another Storm drop. I'm down to 36 SCVs. Just having such a hard time keeping SCVs, man. I would love to see a counter of how many I've lost. Okay, so now he's taking this space, and, like, since I've sent all my units over here, he's seesawing the action back to this side. But I kept my rally here, right? I'm trying to keep a big group of units that I can move around very quickly. Because you can't actually defend everything. You've got to bring units from different areas when he brings his whole army. Now, this was a little bit Dragoon heavy, so this was actually easier. This happens several times where he's running around trying to attack the weakest area. But that one was a little bit too Dragoon heavy. I think he should have, like, I think he overproduced Dragoons a little bit. Should have been a little bit more Zealot heavy there. Although I had a lot of Vultures, so it would have been okay still. Okay, so we're floating command centers now. His bank is starting to get pretty out of control. 7.5k, 7k. My bank, non-existent. Oh yeah, and taking a look, right? So he actually, I'm scanning a lot. I scanned the main base a lot, and I see that he's going +1 attack. And I think I find the fleet beacon too. Did he make it yet? I'm not sure he made it yet, but like, I'm pretty sure he adds one. Also, I'm getting Irradiate because this game is getting so insane, and I'm going to have a decent amount of gas banked up, and I have to grind this one out because, like, he's taking this base, which means he's just going to have way more resources overall mine than me, so I have to get very, very, very cost efficient. And I'm actually, I've never really seen anyone else do this, but I actually like late game Irradiate PvP. While EMP is a quicker solution to things like Psystorm, it's not permanent. And in some of these prolonged games, Irradiate really can be helpful. And honestly, I think in a very prolonged game like this, you should actually get a Dark Archon to counter vessels a little bit better. You almost never see that in this matchup, but feedback is your friend. Okay, here we go. So I'm deciding that I want to push this base. I don't want him to have one whole more base than me. Because if the map cuts like that, right? So if he gets everything below this line, basically, it's one whole additional base. And it's hard to be that much more cost efficient. Yeah, you need their help to be that more cost efficient. So I want to prevent him from mining as much as I can from this location, basically. In the meantime, I'm taking these bases, making some turret rows. I'm getting my vessel energy upgrade. So here he is, like, seesawing the action back, right? He attacked here very strongly, and then he decided, okay, let's go over here, because I've actually brought almost all my units over to this side. So now he's breaking this. Oof. I have these 2 command centers here I really want to save. Okay. I get him pushed off of this area. This is getting very scary, though. I have nothing in the center. Very little over here. Most of my units here, very few vultures. Oh, he's only getting recall now. It feels like his arbiters were a bit late this game. Could have gotten those earlier. So he clears this out again. I can't take it. Just keep the big view right now. Oh! He's getting mind control. Holy crap. And there's the fleet beacon, by the way. I didn't know. I don't think he actually ended up making a Dark Archon, but it looks like he's getting ready for it. I mean, look at his bank. I can't fault him for researching mind control. Oh my god. That's crazy. Okay. But yeah, I'm fairly certain I don't see a Dark Archon this game. If I did, I missed it. Okay, so I'm actually maxed out and starting to gain a bank since I'm mining from these bases, so that's kind of nice. He does have this additional base, which is painful. Still a much bigger bank. Also, I've been scanning a lot. And I've seen the Fleet Beacon, I've seen the spinning cybernetics cores, and I actually start, like, ship weapons and ship armor. Because it occurs to me, I'm like, this game is getting so insane. Like, I'm just going to upgrade Wraiths just in case. Because I wasn't sure if I was going to need them or not. Sometimes I think that they're good late game. But I wasn't sure if I was going to make them. But I just thought, you know what? I have a little bit of extra money. Let's get some upgrades. Because if there's 0-0, they can't do anything. Okay, so here's him seesawing it back. That group of goons, I think he messed up with, but breaking through a little bit. I'm down to 1 tank here. Just barely hold it. Bringing tanks back to this side. And I start to add factories here. This is a very, very important. Because there's times where, like, I can't connect everything perfectly. Storm drop up here. It doesn't matter at this point, really. I don't think those are worthwhile anymore at this point in the game. I'm getting 2-2 on those Wraiths right now. He's getting Arbiter energy. I did hear an Arbiter somewhere. Not sure where exactly. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I tried to kill this base again. I sent so many tanks here, and then I realized he actually mined it out. I guess there's still some gas left. It's not like he's hurting for gas. Yeah, so I guess he just gets more resources than me this game. I was a little bit frustrated with myself when I finally busted it, that I'm like, oh, he doesn't even care. Okay, so he comes in with another really strong push. Kills that base off again. Oh, man. I'm refeeling the stress I felt during this game. Luckily, I have these factories here. So he's killed this command center. I guess this one actually lived. His bank is finally being eaten into. He's actually mined out everything. He mined out everything. He has no more bases. The only bases with minerals are all up here now. Crazy. He's even trying to long distance mine at this point. We're getting there. Okay, so here I actually pull back, and I'm like, okay, let's pre-spread everything. Because all I have to do at this point is hold on to these bases. Like, I've been checking over and over for carriers. At this point, several times I have scanned this base, this area, this area, this area, here, 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 down here, because I am looking for carriers. Because I'm like, okay, if he goes carriers, I really have to switch everything I'm making. But I checked, like, so many times. Basically, all my scans at this point are being used watching for that. And then I'm like, okay, he's not going to go carries. Even though he got some upgrades in the Fleet Beacon, he decided he could kill me. And then he couldn't, and now he doesn't have the money to go carriers. So I'm just sitting here kind of trying to use Defense Matrix, EMP, that type of thing. Running around with vultures, trying to pick off anything I can. And this is where I start to just mass irradiate everything. So, like, this just did 3 irradiates. This just got rid of 450 gas, 150 minerals of Templar. Lots of Archons mixed in since he doesn't really have any money. Couple more. Alright, so we are getting right to the end here. There's really nothing else. Right, I'm EMPing some stuff, irradiating still. Even getting Zealots with the radiate, just anything I can get. Because I know that he has no money. No reason to actually attack him. That would be the only chance for him to really win. Okay, so hour and 6-minute game. Oof.